Or is this full-time MMA now?
I love full-time MMA right now.
Full-time MMA?
MMA,
Nothing
yeah.
else?
My life, man, yeah.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, because you know what time it is. It's full-time
MMA.
And it looks like UFC 225 was a little less heartbreaking than initially reported, but still, I'm not excited, man. It looks like the initial reports of about 150,000 pay-per-view buys were a little off. Now Dave Meltzer's coming out and saying industry sources with knowledge of the number pegged that as of the end of last week it was estimated at doing about 250,000 buys, a number that would combine both the traditional television purchases and the streaming purchases. They would be lower to what would be expected for the show. A $250,000 number likely indicates Punk had some positive impact, but nothing compared to the interest in his first fight back in 2016. So, whenever CM Punk first fought back in 2016, I believe he sold, if not a million pay-per-view buys, really close. He sold a lot of pay-per-view buys, and now it looks like his second time in the UFC, his second go, not near as many people were interested in seeing him like save face. They saw, you know, a lot of people were probably just tuning in the first time to see, can CM Punk have a chance in the UFC? Can he fuck around and go over there and pull a Brock Lesnar and become a champion, you know, and make the WWE proud or make all of his fans proud? And then after they saw that embarrassing performance versus Mickey Gall, they probably lost hope as far as CM Punk in the UFC. So while he still probably had a few diehard fans left that wanted to see if he could redeem himself, there was probably a lot of people that were like, yeah, I'm not interested in paying $60 just to see CM Punk try and redeem himself. Now, with all of that being said, this is still very disappointing. And honestly, I don't know. I don't think there's a way to tell. Well, you know, was this 250,000 buys? Does it have more to do with CM Punk? Or does it have to do with the actual card? Because this was a stacked card. This card did have Holly Holm on it versus Megan Anderson. Now, Megan Anderson, not near name, but Holly Holm is somebody that sold pay-per-views in the past. As far as she was the original Ronda Rousey killer, she's fought Cyborg at the end of the year card at UFC 219. She's fought in multiple UFC title fights. Every casual fan knows who Holly Holm is. Now, with that being said, are they all buying her pay-per-view? Who knows? But that's still a name there. And then on top of that, 2 title fights, Yoel Romero, Robert Whittaker. Maybe the fans wouldn't buy the pay-per-view for that card. The hardcore fans definitely should have. But then you got Colby Covington versus RDA. You would have thought, hell, Colby Covington, people even might pay to see him lose. Brazil might pay to see RDA win. You know, there's all types of reasons that I felt like that this pay-per-view card should have did amazing. Alistair Overeem versus Curtis Blades was on the prelims. We had this card was stacked from top to bottom. I felt like 150,000 made no sense, and 250,000 still makes little sense. It's like, what the hell is really going on with these pay-per-view numbers? It's like, unless you're Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey, you can't sell anything? Like, what the fuck? So, I don't know, and so for those numbers to not make sense to me, I was wondering, maybe there was like NBA on that night, and I don't think the finals was on, but it could have been maybe a boxing event, like, but still, it didn't. These numbers were pretty abysmal for such a stacked UFC 225 card, and now the numbers are a little better, but it still doesn't look good. I mean, and so, you know, it looks like Meltzer, it looks like this extra 100,000 pay-per-view buys that, you know, were initially not reported or whatever, like the initial number was 150,000. Now we're up to about 250,000, and they suggest that's probably because CM Punk's on the card. But hell, I'm wondering, what if there were hardcore fans that were actually boycotted? Because you see clearly there aren't as many CM Punk fans buying the card, because there was 1 million the first time and 250,000 now. So clearly all the CM Punk fans ain't buying the card. So I wonder if there's as many people boycotting the pay-per-view because, you know, CM Punk's getting a pay-per-view spot. So you could imagine there's people like, man, fuck this. I'm not buying this pay-per-view. I'm not going to support the UFC putting a WWE guy back in here again to try and get my money. We saw he's not UFC caliber. Now he's just getting a fucking second shot because he's Johnny Redemption, and you want me to fucking pay $60? No, dog. It's 2018. So there's really, I can't point my finger as to why these pay-per-view numbers were so low. We don't know if it was a CM Punk boycott. We don't know if it was a Colby Covington boycott or anything like that. But all we know is that these numbers were pretty small for this stacked card. And it would suck if people were boycotting these fucking cards. Like, I'm not going to support Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero. I'm not going to support Rafael Dos Anjos, Holly Holm, Negan Anderson, Andrei Arlovsky, Tai Tuivasa. I'm not going to buy their pay-per-view and support none of these fighters because I don't like CM Punk or because I don't like Colby Covington. That would kind of suck, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they didn't really do shit. They're there to fight. These are actual fighters that aren't talking trash and disrespecting people like Colby Covington or disrespecting the sport like some people feel CM Punk did. So I feel like, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't do that. If I could have afforded UFC 225, my money would have been spent a week before. I'd have had that shit pre-ordered to support that huge card, because that's what it was, the most stacked card of the year to date. So with that being said, it is what it is, but it looks like at least the numbers were better than 150,000. That was looking like an Amanda Nunes or like a Demetrius Johnson pay-per-view low-key. It was like, huh? Like, it was crazy. So a little better than Amanda Nunes and Demetrius Johnson, but still a low number for such a stacked card. Let the Full-Time family know what you think in the comments. And before we go, shout out to all the Full-Time MMA white belts that have hit the subscribe button. Make sure you also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to become a Full-Time MMA blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, or black belt, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/fulltimemma. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.